Hello, this is Vani Mardi, Assistant Professor, Vignaneshwar Government Law College, Kalburgi, Karnataka. I welcome you all for today's video session. In the previous video, we have discussed about the registration of partnership firm and dissolution of partnership firm. Prior to that, we had discussion about rights and duties of partners, elements of partners, definition of partners, all such aspects we have discussed. Today, let us take a look at the admission, retirement, expulsion, insolvency, estate liability of the partners in the partnership firm. So this is also a very important topic in Indian Partnership Act 1932. So in the beginning, admission of the partnership firm. So admission of a partnership firm here in the sense admission of the partner. So for an admission here, it is subject to section 30, which is about the minors. So here we are not discussing about the minor because certain conditions have to be fulfilled for a minor to be a member of a partnership firm. So partnership firm has to be in existence, then minor shall not be responsible for the liabilities, then he shall only be the beneficiary. So we are not considering the minor here, but if any other person who has attained the age of majority has to enter, has to uh, take admission in the partnership. So this is discussed in section 31. Section 31 to 35. It covers the legal consequences of the partners incoming and outgoing. What are the legal consequences in case partners are coming in and are going out? So coming in here is admission. So whenever there is admission, retirement, expulsion, insolvency, the partnership undergoes reconstitution of the partnership firm. So regarding the admission of the firm, for any partner to get admitted or to take admission in the firm, it has to take place with the consent of the partners. This is one of the requirements. Then secondly, it has to be according to the partnership deed or in accordance with the agreement entered into between the parties. This is the second important condition for the partnership to take place. So when the partner, regarding the liability of the partner who enters into the partnership firm, so he shall not be liable for any obligations created by the partnership firm before his admission to the partnership firm. Only subsequently, after admission of his membership in the partnership, he shall be liable. But however, there are certain exceptions to this rule. That is, until and unless the partner agrees for liability of debts or obligations created by the partnership firm, that is, if he agrees to assume the liability for debts of the partnership firm, old partnership firm. And secondly, if the creditor accepts the new firm as debtor and discharges the old firm, then this is also another exception wherein even after admission he shall be liable for the old obligations and liabilities of the partnership firm. So this is the second situation. Then under these exceptional circumstances he shall be liable, otherwise he shall not be liable. This is regarding the admission of the new partner into the partnership firm. Then in case of another exception, if the that is third exception, is that if minor attains the age of majority and if he is willing to become a member of the partnership firm, then he shall be liable for the debts of the or liabilities of the old partnership firm. So this is regarding the liability restricted only after the admission into the firm and not before his admission, and the exceptions regarding this we have discussed. Then coming on to the next section, that is section 32. This is about retirement of a partner. So a partner retires means he ceases to be a member. He ceases to be a member of a partnership firm. So this results in his suspension of his relationship between the other partners, for which he has to give public notice of his retirement. If he does not give public notice of his retirement, then his liability continues even after the retirement. So to terminate his liability for the losses of the partnership firm, notice is mandatory or compulsory. So the retirement of a member does not dissolve the firm. So as we have discussed in the previous video, the dissolution of firm takes place only by mutual agreement, by order of the court, by happening of the event, by issuing of notice, and by mandatory terms. So the dissolution of takes place. So here retirement does not result in dissolution of a partnership firm. So this is covered in section 32. Then coming on to section 34. Section 34 is about expulsion of a partner from the partnership firm. So whether a partner can be expelled. So even when a partner is expelled from the partnership firm, that does not result into dissolution of a firm. It is only that person discontinues. So for a partner to be expelled from the partnership firm, the certain conditions have to be fulfilled, and those conditions are: the expulsion of a partner should be in the interest of the partnership firm, then it should be bona fide, then notice has to be given, then opportunity to state his statement has to be given, which means which comes under the principles of natural justice, that is no one can be condemned unheard before, that is audi alteram partem, which means opportunity of being heard should be given before taking any action against the person. So this is regarding the expulsion of a partnership. Then coming on to section 34, this is regarding insolvency of a partner. So in case of insolvency of a partner, so whenever a partner is adjudicated as a insolvent by the court, under such circumstances he ceases to be the member of the partner and the partnership firm still continues. So this is another situation wherein partnership partnership changes have taken, that is incoming and outgoing of the partnership. Then 35 is about estate of the deceased partner. Usually the partnership comes to an end by the death, but under certain circumstances, if it is stated in the partnership deed or agreement of the partners that it shall continue even after the death of the partner, then liability shall be cleared from the estate of the deceased partner. So this is all about the partnership, reconstitution of partnership, which undergoes in case of partner coming in and going out, which are as we have discussed from section 31 to 35, that is admission, retirement, expulsion, insolvency, and estate of a deceased partner. So having discussed and known about the incoming and outgoing partners, the next important topic that we need to take up for discussion today is about the relationship of partner with third party. So how is the relationship of partner with the third party? This is discussed from section 90 to 22 of Indian Partnership Act 1932. Section 19 is about the agency of the partnership. So when we discussed about the definition of partnership under section 4, which says that partnership is a relationship between the partners who have agreed to share the profits of a business carried on by all or by any of them acting for all, which means there is agency, mutual agency in the partnership firm. So mutual agency means here the partner acts as an agent for the firm as well as principal for the firm. So this is how his role is played with the third party. So he embraces both the role of principal and the role of agency. So this is what is discussed and highlighted under section 19 of Indian Partnership Act 1932. Having discussed about the agency, then the second thing is implied authority. So what is implied authority? So whether the partner has got any implied authority. Yes, of course he has got the implied authority to enter into the terms and conditions of the contract.